Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, I'm Uncle Reddit, and this is r/ProRevenge. This is a little later than I usually record, but trying to get ahead of the curve a little bit for an upcoming trip. So anyway, hope you enjoy the stories. Let's get to it. Landscaping owner rips my friend off for $400, so my friend makes him incur $15,000 in expenses. Word of note, this isn't me, but posting up here for a friend who currently resides overseas. Long story, but worth the read. A while back, my friend was selling some stuff online, and among the items was a water heater. You know, the ones you see in every community hall/church kitchen. It was in working condition. He threw it up online for $150 and got an email from a person who runs a landscaping business saying he'll give him $100 cash today. Done. 2 weeks later, he got an email saying that it's not working. Weird. So my friend offered to give a full refund or cover repair cost if it's under $100. The guy instead sent an invoice for $400 saying the repair's been done, and if my friend doesn't pay it in 48 hours, he'll send a debt collector after him. He paid it, out of fear, and emailed him the confirmation. The landscaping owner then emailed back saying, "This is the price you sometimes have to pay when selling second-hand electronics," followed by a "Have a great day, don't let this hold you back," with a smiley face at the end of the email. A month later, my friend was in a bar and he overhears a girl talking about how her boss, who runs a landscaping firm, screwed over some dumbass selling a water heater. My friend said, "Oh, damn, I gotta hear this. Do you mind if I join your table?" And the girl said sure and told the story. Her boss had bought a busted water heater from a second-hand store for $25 and a working one for $100 and billed the seller for the repair for the busted one before he sold it on for $300 to some community group. My friend asked, "Who did this so I don't hire that guy to fix up my yard?" Ha ha ha's all around. She says the company name, and lo and behold, it's on the email of the guy my friend sold the water heater to. He was the dumbass in the story. He told me he was pretty angry about it, but then the crud hit, so he had other stuff to worry about. 18 months later, he was browsing the website he originally sold the water heater on, and he saw a bunch of landscaping materials. Shovels, gardening stuff, wheelbarrows, lights for working at night, drills, nail guns, some construction materials, and a generator. Now, in my friend's location, apparently, if you're selling a generator, then you need to have a warrant of fitness for it, proving that it works, it's safe, no flayed wires, etc. Most people ignored it, and he saw that this generator is being sold by the landscaping firm. This generator, he said, just by looking at it, there's no way in heck it would have a WOF. Word of note, failure for a business to provide a WOF upon request for a generator after 2 weeks. When reported to the official departments and enforced by the court, the punishment is a hefty fine, and the courts often force the seller to refund the affected party and pay any costs that they incurred. He talked to his flatmate, who agreed that they would go 50-50 on the generator, but he would transfer the money. Now, my friend had never met the landscaping firm owner face-to-face when selling the water heater. He left it outside, and pickup was confirmed via his security camera. And when he got there, it was clear that the owner, this old grumpy-looking man who enjoyed yelling at his employees, had emptied out his storage unit. The owner was very much as it is, no refund, and the flatmate showed him the transfer confirmation and they take the generator for $800. No warrant of fitness provided. They then took it to a friend of theirs who's an electrician, and he agreed to check it and give an invoice for repairs, and to quote the friend, "It would be cheaper to buy a new generator, and to be honest, this generator shouldn't have been sold. It should have been scrapped." They also found that the main identifier number had been scratched off, but not a second number that is often recorded as well on WOS for tracking purposes. So they got in contact with the seller, telling him the cost for repair, around $5,000. He promptly tells them that he's not paying, as it is, no refund. To which they then asked, "Have you got a warrant of fitness for this generator?" Silence for 2 days. They followed up with another email asking for it. No response. They then ask again and get an email from him saying that he'll take it back for $800. They said, "No, we want the WOF," and they get no response. They emailed him every day for 2 weeks. Nothing. So they printed out the original item listing that had been screenshot and had been archived on the website and reported him to the website and then the government. 4 months later, my friend is in court and the guy went up to him. He tells him that he'll take back the generator for $800 and that my friend and his flatmate will be going in to tell the judge that the seller has refunded them and that they want it all dropped, and that's what's happening here, full stop. End of story. They're doing what they're told to do. My friend said, no. So they went into the courtroom, and it's over very quickly. The inspector of the government sent out to inspect the generator stated that it was in poor condition, shouldn't have been sold, was highly unsafe, and that the seller had tried to get the generator a WOF in early 2021, but instead had been told that it was to be repaired or scrapped and that it was not to be sold. They identified it by a second number on the generator that they took down in the original attempt to get it WOF'd, which had not been scratched out like the first. The judge ordered the landscaping firm owner to refund the flatmate the $800, pay the $5,000 for repairs to the generator, and was ordered to pay a $10,000 fine, which would be given directly to my friend's flatmate as the affected party. When they left the courtroom, the owner was furious and told them that under no uncertain terms was he paying them a penny more, and that he couldn't understand what he had done to deserve such treatment. To which my friend said, "Remember the water heater?" He gave him a very confused look. "Remember the water heater you brought for $100? Well, I do, because I sold it to you, and I know that you had a different one repaired and invoiced me for it." His jaw was on the floor, and to hit it home, he said, "It's a B, isn't it? When what goes around comes around, especially when it accumulated interest. You have 48 hours to pay, or a debt collector will be contacted. Remember, this is the price you sometimes have to pay when selling secondhand electronics. Have a great day. Don't let this hold you back." And they left. He paid the $15,000 2 days later. My friend and the flatmate split the $10,000 50-50 as they agreed, combination of rent payments and study stuff. The generator they got repaired, and then got a WOF for it before selling it for $1,000 with a newly replaced identifier number. They then went out for a wonderful dinner and a night out in town. In short, old landscaping owner rips my friend off $400, so my friend makes him incur $15,000 in expenses. Everybody's always trying to work an angle, man. It's a damn shame. If you're going to sell it, well, here you can sell things as is, no problem, and that's fine. You say it's as is. If I choose to buy it at that point, it's buyer beware. But if I sold you something and you claim you got it repaired by somebody and you really got something else fixed and I find out, oh yeah, you'll pay at least 15 grand for that. Greedy grabbers get exactly what they take. Sweet older lady in our church was a retired nurse. Never married, no kids. She had a heart attack, and while she was in the hospital, her niece and nephew thought she was dying. They came and took her stuff. Her apartment was small, but she had some very nice crystal and silver, and some lovely antique furniture. When she came home, she had no dishes and almost no furniture. Niece and nephew denied it, but the neighbors had seen them carting everything away. Several years later, she passed away. Her most recent will, dated after her heart attack, left $1 each to her niece and nephew. Everything else went to the church. Her estate was $9 million. Ouch. I was starting to think to myself, she left them $1 each. Whoop-de-doo, where's the revenge in that? Yeah, with a $9 million estate and they got just a few pieces of silver and some furniture. Nice, Grandma. Throw your trash in my yard? Enjoy moving. My now ex-neighbor was pretty trashy. Car sitting on blocks in the yard, cigarette hanging out of her mouth while she's 9 months pregnant, blasting Kid Rock tunes level trashy. Well, this lady decided that paying $1 per trash bag was just too much. Our township will only pick up your trash if it's in one of the approved purple bags, though. So normal trash bags will just be left behind. The trash truck drives right past them. Her solution? Buy normal trash bags at the dollar store and have her 8-year-old child toss them over the fence into my yard. Now their trash is my problem. After confronting her, she just laughed. So I called the cops. They said that since the kid was so young and there was no proof his parents told him to do it, there was nothing they could do. So this went on for about 4 months. Me taking the bags of trash they toss into my yard, wrapping them in purple bags that I paid out of pocket for, and putting them out to the curb. Pretty effing annoying. Not to mention the extra $3 or so a week I'm spending on trash bags. I'm slowly growing to hate this woman. It was annoying at first, but I was getting mad. Mind you, I own my home, and she was renting hers. So I get a hold of their landlord, and I offer to buy the house for a decent amount above market value, 17%. He jumps at the offer, and soon I'm the proud owner of the house next door to me. Sure, it cost me $71K, but what price do you put on peace of mind? The very first thing I did was serve them an eviction notice, in person. Across that same fence they like to throw trash over. That was 31 days ago. As of today, the unit is empty. I don't know where they went, but they're someone else's problem now. All because she didn't want to pay for her own trash bags. I think I'm going to knock that house down and make my yard bigger. I've been wanting to put in a handball court. Note for the profile stalkers, this is not the same neighbor with the husky. I like those neighbors. Yeah, there are some really common, trashy people in this world. They'll do things. It's bad enough when they do things in a sneaky way, but when they do things outright, right in front of your face, and just laugh it off and act like there's nothing you can do about it, Yeah, there's a special place for those people. It's Taco Tuesday, B. Not using my regular account for this one because there's some mildly incriminating stuff and I don't need to be identified. Thinking I should make this my dark secret account because holy crap, I've got more. I used to enter recipe competitions for fun as a bored housewife. I was good at finding them online. I had a system, knew what the promoters wanted, and I usually won. So some guy starts some kind of health and fitness website and runs a recipe competition to promote it. I do the thing, a Buddha bowl if you're wondering, and as usual I am announced the winner. Congrats, it's Taco Tuesday, you've won $1,000. It's usually not a cash prize, but okay. Awesome. Except he never comes good with the money and just ghosts me instead. I decided to send one last message and move on with my life. I can use the recipe and photo again since it was never published. He finally responds and he's hostile. I'm like, sorry, what? And he proceeds to threaten me with his goons all like, I know people in Sydney who will F you up. Oh, he thinks I'm in Sydney. And I tell him to just forget it. I already accepted I'd never see the money. I started Googling this guy and come to find he's a complete F-wit. The proper gym bro tough guy with no social skills. I also discover he's opening a tacoera in Sydney. I infiltrated his Facebook friends list with my Creeper account. I added a whole bunch of his friends and family first so I'd show as having friends in common, and then I used my new position to gather intel. I made a Google account with his mother's name and photo. I'm really that creepy. And left reviews saying his tacos tasted like someone farted directly into my mouth. Then I made a glitter bomb, using a greeting card that opens landscape style with like a tissue paper pouch full of glitter glued to the insides, and sent it to him at his restaurant. I googled his email address and found his post on Gumtree looking for a chef, LMFAO. So I make a new email address and I'm like, I'm a friend of the most common Facebook friend's last name, family, and they mentioned you're opening a tacoera. I'm moving to Sydney. I was a chef at my uncle's Mexican restaurant. And do you have any jobs available? You do? Oh, how exciting. Will you please give me a chance? Great. I look forward to working for you. Every day I had a credible excuse to not show, and milked that until he was just about done with my stuff. Then I left a message with an employee. I can't come into work today because Taco Guy didn't give It's Taco Tuesday her prize for the recipe competition he ran on his failed website and then threatened her with violence. And then I waited for him to contact me. He was a little upset, and I confessed everything. All the little mind F's, all the petty stuff, canceled orders, all of it. He told me he'd pay me if I stopped. I declined the offer. I said I'd rather have $1,000 worth of fun at his expense. Maybe next time don't threaten people with goons. I said I might not ever get bored of this. And the last thing I ever said, every time you have a bad day, you're going to wonder if I was somehow involved. Edit. People be asking for the recipe. It's on a laptop that died, but I found my notes in Keep. And I'm not going to read this whole recipe, but I'm going to pause this here for a second, just long enough for you guys to be able to pause the video, and there's a second slide with the same stuff. And here's number 2. It looks pretty good though. So yeah, if you're in the mood for that Buddha bowl that she made and put the recipe up for, go for it, man. Thank you, OP, for the recipe and the cool story. And if you guys get a chance, do me a favor. Click this video right here next to me on the screen. I think you're going to enjoy it. See ya.